So I want to thank our sponsor, MySidewalk, because this place is awesome. I'm actually going to have Jay come up here and tell us a little bit about this place and like what they do here. And he's going to be our first speaker tonight. So, round of applause for Jay.
Thank you. All right. So about us, MySidewalk. We used to be called MindMixer. We were called MindMixer when we moved down here. We started in Omaha. Moved down here about 2 years ago. We started, when we were in Omaha, we started as a community engagement platform. So a platform that's not Facebook, that's a good place to actually have good conversations about community and civic engagement. Since we moved down here, we've continued to do that. We've also expanded to building a data product, so a product that allows communities to be able to quickly get census data and analytics about the places where they live, the type of people that live there, and who they are. So yeah, that's more or less what we do. And I guess about the space, I don't know much about the space. We had 2 temporary spaces before we moved in here, which was kind of entertaining. But we kind of use this area as like our open area, and the back area is our working space. But anyway, if you have any other questions about us, please ask us afterwards. We'll be around. So to get started, I just wanted to do a pretty simple, straightforward walkthrough of front to back our CI process. It's probably not going to be anything new and exciting, but it'll be fun, and it should be interesting. So starting off, obviously, if you're going to build anything, you need to have code, right? We recently switched to GitHub from Unfuddle. I don't know if anyone's heard of Unfuddle. It is a private Git repository too. They have a ticketing system as well as Git. It's not as user-friendly as Git. Obviously, devs are very familiar with Git. GitHub. Users are very familiar with GitHub. It has a lot of good tools built in to make workflow a lot more smooth. So first thing, we have our repo. We actually have quite a few code repositories for different apps and microservices that we do. But the main one has most of what we need. I'm not going to read through the README. There's a lot of stuff about deployment I'm going to talk about it a little bit. To actually start developing, we switched from using Vagrant recently also to Docker and Docker Compose. We have almost always been using Docker as our deployment solution in production and in other environments, but we weren't developing using Docker. Docker Compose has made that a lot easier. It makes, especially spinning up a lot of different instances for a dev, much easier because you'll just be ready to go. So, like I said, I won't read through that, but typically you check out the code base and then zoom in here so you guys can see everything. This is just our default Docker Compose file. It's in YAML if you haven't worked with Docker Compose. But you can see we have a bunch of different instances set up here. We have like our OAuth provider, Celery, etcd, Mongo, our actual app, Nginx, Postgres. You have a lot of stuff in here, right? Obviously, devs maybe don't need every piece of it, but luckily it's YAML, it's easy to read, it's not difficult to get around, so if I don't need Tesseract, which is one of our microservices, I can just comment it out, right? Or if I don't need RabbitMQ, I can give it. So it's easy to tweak to work with what you're doing. By default, we have, you can see they're all set up with images, and these are images that we've pushed up to our Google Cloud repository. We use GCE for all of our infrastructure, really. So as a dev, you don't actually even really need the whole repo. You really just need this and one other file to get started, and access to our GCR repository, because that's protected with authentication, obviously. But if you have this, and our other file, which I'll talk about real quick, is just a basic provisioning script. So there's some things that Docker Compose doesn't yet do. One of the main things is we have like some host entries that we want to set up for devs to make sure that they can actually access the things that they can when developing locally. Otherwise, it's just basically a kind of hand-holding. You run the script, and we're going to pull everything down. We're going to run database migrations. We'll run tests for the first time, start everything up and go. But if this isn't your first time, you really only need a Docker Compose file. So short bash script, Docker Compose file. Otherwise, let's see if I can zoom in here so you guys can see what's going on. Let's get back to this guy. Did this before. So, maybe. Beyond that, it's just Docker Compose up. And if you do -d, it's detached. If you don't do it, you can get all the output to one window, which isn't great. I already have all the images that I built. I'm not going to make you guys watch me build all the images. It's already up to date. Everything started. So I have an etcd instance, our app, our OAuth app, Redis, Timing server, Nginx, and our loops. So if everything goes well, you first run that bash script that I mentioned earlier, and it'll basically run for you. So that gets me up and running. Very start. Second piece, now we've got a working environment. We got to do work, right? Let me switch back over here. We have a repository. We use GitHub for ticketing, obviously. Like I said, we used to use Info. I wrote up a quick ticket. This is typically how devs would get their work, and either a dev would write it or someone else. And I just did an example. In this case, I'm going to do something so I can actually show you guys how we're building. And my ticket is just to clean up our README file. So this is less DevOps and just more ops stuff. But as far as how we typically write tickets, describing not necessarily what you're supposed to do, but why you're supposed to do it. So in this case, as a developer, I want the README to create a stamp column limit, so I don't have to side scroll and edit the file. Kind of a silly ticket, it's just an example, right? But it gives the dev an idea of why they're working on something and not necessarily just what they're supposed to be working on. And then some acceptance criteria. So I'm going to assign myself, and I'm just going to submit the issue. I got a new ticket for it. So next piece, I want to start working on it. We typically open up a branch for every new ticket, just to make things easy to work with and easy to organize. So you can see I have a handful of them down here. I'm actually going to use PyCharm to make my branch because I don't want to mistype on the command line. So in this case, I can just do new branch. And what was my ticket number? 1860. So I can do 1860 DevOps. Yeah. So master's our production branch, not terribly surprising. So we always branch off of master. That way you have the most up-to-date version of the production code base. Branched off of master, I have my new branch. I'm actually going to make some changes. Now, this is incredibly interesting, but it's just for example, I'm going to cut off a couple lines here so that it actually fits. Just for fun. It was, let's see, resolves, fixes, 1860, right? And then push. So now we're out there. Assuming that I'm actually doing something that is going to matter and I actually have to iteratively develop against, I'll make a few more changes. Once I feel it's good enough to be actually for QA to start testing, it may not be completely done, but I'm ready to start testing. We have branches set up for each of our environments right now, so we have our QA branch. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll just check out the QA branch real quick. Pull down QA, make sure it's up to date, so I don't get any conflicts. Oh, I shouldn't anyway, it's 3 weeks, shouldn't be a big deal. And then I will just, again, version QA, and then I can question. So pretty straightforward, simple, nothing too complex. Hey, I got a comment on my issue, nice. Next, so now that I've pushed to QA, so we use Jenkins for running our builds. So I'm sure most, if not all, are going to be at least somewhat familiar with this. We have a lot of builds, or a lot of different projects right now. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But as long as everything went all right, I bet I lost my session.
We don't build up now.
Oh.
Did you change the map?
So So push to QA. I didn't do anything obviously, and Jenkins automatically started for us. Nothing terribly special there. The process, I won't make us watch the whole thing, because it'll take a couple minutes. But number one, when the first part of the build is to build a Docker container that'll actually eventually run. Second step, run unit tests. We have both back end and front end unit tests that we run. Third build step, run integration tests. Anything that actually has to integrate with the app. And then fourth step would be to push the image up to the repository, make sure it's up to date, and then deploy the actual Docker container to the app servers that need it. Again, not terrible. Oh, and I forgot, I missed shipping static assets. So all of our static asset generation built in there too. It gets sent off. So unit tests are running right now. It'll take a couple minutes for that to go through, and I'm not going to sit and watch it. But eventually it'll go through unit tests, integration test, and deploy. And if all goes well, then QA will update it. If it doesn't, we do have Slack integration set up with it, so some people get pinged if a build fails. And so it's kind of nice in Slack because you can just get in there and just see it come across, and someone can say, "Hey, I got it. This failed." Pretty handy. Also some email notifications as well. So now we've got it in QA. Assuming that this is actually a real feature that needs QA, QAs can go in and do some acceptance testing and make sure that it meets the acceptance criteria that is in the ticket. And if they do, they give you the thumbs up. About the same time, typically about the same time that we'll merge into QA is when we'll start a pull request. So let me go ahead and do that. So pull requests are when, you know what pull requests are, I think most people know what pull requests are, is when you want to get something up into integration, and we just want a couple of eyes on it, right, before we actually get it up in integration. So I'm going to start a new pull request. We actually have a separate branch for stage. We'll actually talk about that a little later. So we merge into stage instead of master, and I pick my, it's going to be down here, DevOps Meetup. We've got our changes, pretty straightforward. Click create pull request, clean up preview, and I have any labels or milestones. So again, typically if this was something that, and I can zoom in a little bit too. Typically if this is something that actually requires actual development and QA, this would sit in pull request for anywhere from a couple hours, depending on how quickly it needs to go up, to maybe a couple days. As soon as one or two people can go and say, yeah, this is good, thumbs up, we'll move on. Sometimes we find things, we'll go back and fix them and create a pull request or update pull request. Code review, thank you. So, Jake was on top of it. Gave you a +1, I'm good to go, so I can just say, yeah, first pull request for the merge. Pull request successfully merged and closed. I can delete my remote branch. This is where GitHub really shines a lot. When we're using Fuddle, and Fuddle doesn't have a lot of the nice automated hooks that GitHub does. We had branches that stuck around for a long time. We'd have to police those, but it's just really slick. So now it's in stage, and if I go over here, everything went well. Staging is building. So same thing for pretty much the exact same thing for stage as we did for QA. It's build container, run unit, and integration test because something may have changed from the QA. The QA environment is not exactly the same as anything else. So run those tests, make sure it deploys, and we're good to go. At that point, it's good to go into production. We typically build production on Monday nights, just because everyone's here. It's the beginning of the week. If anything happens, you're there. You'll be here the rest of the week, right? And you can make changes. Not to say that that's the only time we build. We actually probably average at least 2 builds a week. Just as if we have a good feature that we think we can use right off the bat, performance improvements, anything that will make the experience better, we'll typically just push it. Because the actual build for production, since we ran all of our tests and integration, the production build's a little bit shorter, so you can build it and have pretty minimal downtime in the app, 20 minutes maybe. So we'll do that just about any day. Otherwise, always on Mondays. And when we do that, the way that I'm not actually building production just because, why? but typically what we do is just a straight merge from stage to master. So I can pull out master, I actually do merge stage into it, and move on. Once we merge stage, we typically, at least now that we've started using Git, we've started tagging our releases. We probably should have been tagging our releases before anyway, but we'll tag a release with a date and a version. The version is mostly just if we have to do more than one day. Hotfix, basically, push something in, also some stuff doesn't work. Get that tagged and pushed up. So that's that. What else did I have on my outline requested? Oh, post build. So one of the last things that actually happens and this kind of goes all the way back to the beginning of the cycle, one of the things that happens after we build production, obviously all the images get updated. So those images that we pulled from with Docker Compose at the very beginning are now up to date. So if anyone wants the newest version of the app, they just pull it down. They could pull down the new code and build their own container, or they could pull down the container. The other really nice thing we added recently was a job to build database fixtures afterwards, because maintaining the set of data that a dev has on their environment is kind of a pain. And so we also have that's kind of cool, we have a data container that can hold all the fixture data that devs use. So when they get started, you won't have to worry about any migration mess that happens if we make schema changes to the build. You just get the new data, which is pretty slick. That's basically it in a nutshell. I've taken a couple notes of things that we could maybe improve upon or change over time. So staging, we don't really need a staging branch or a staging Docker image. So we have a tag for Docker at QA, we have one staging for prod. Stage and prod are basically the same thing. I mean, the data that's in stage is maybe not the same data that's in prod, but the Docker container is going to be the same. How they work is going to be about the same. So there isn't really any reason why we couldn't just get rid of the staging branch, merge it to master, and use that to build our staging environment that we can do acceptance testing and things like that on. And additionally, when we build production, we actually build the Docker container when we could just move the tag from stage to production because it's already built, right? Container management, although this isn't something we really need, we may hit it at some point. We have a handful of app servers. We have a handful of app servers that we deploy the containers to. 10 right now, although we don't really need 10, but we have 10. So we simply just use DSH to go restart the service on each of those servers that pulls the new Docker image and starts it back up. So we're not using anything like Kubernetes or anything like that. But then again, we only have a handful of app servers, and DSH is a one-liner that works pretty well. It's a little bit slower. You have to wait for all of them to go through. It's not too bad. Dry, our Jenkins instances have a lot of repetition, so not surprisingly, the staging build and deploy looks a lot like the production build and deploy, QA build and deploy. We have password fields for databases that exist in our Jenkins build that we could get rid of if we did some NetSuite integration, among other things. There's just a lot in here. We have too many, maybe, projects and builds. The sad thing is, too, is this isn't the only Jenkins instance we have. We have, well, now technically 2 more. We have one that's just for tasks, right? So Jenkins is nice that it gives you a nice UI to run. If you just want to run a script, you want to hit a button and make it do stuff. So we have a Jenkins instance that's just for that. And it's handy, it's nice, but it's just a lot for a small problem. And then static assets. We currently depend on Django. Django has collect static tools built in to collect static assets and supposed to deploy them. It's not great. It works pretty well. It's especially for dev workflows. It's kind of cumbersome and it takes a little while for it to develop post processing. So we're working on cleaning that up. But it also happens in the build at opportune time. It could happen separately from us doing migrations and things like that. It has to go over. So that's basically it. I mean, I kind of blew through that. I didn't want to dig too deep into any one of those things. But does anyone have any questions? Yes. Oh yeah, I probably could have done that. In this case, if I went to issues, typically what we'll just do is say we have QA as a team, and then just say merge to QA. And they'll just know that it's there and can work on it. And with the GitHub hooks, it automatically tags it with what it needs on review, which is not on review anymore because I already pushed it. But anywho. Huh? Oh yeah, that's right. So I will actually show you a funnel too, just real quickly. One of the nice things that we had in Unfunnel that we didn't have in GitHub was, 1 second, let's choose this guy. New schedules. Oh, there's probably nothing in here anymore. No, there's not going to be anything there. No, there's not going to be anything there. So anyway, it had this nice, I'll just bring it all. It had this nice board that we could use in Unfunnel that was handy as like a general overview of all the stuff and where they are in flight. To replace that, we've used waffle.io. And there's a lot up here right now, but it is nice to get a good overview of where everything is at in the process and where it's at in flight. It works pretty well. It works about the same as the funnel. Say what?
We use ZenHub, which is a GitHub integration, so it adds like pull requests on that and forwards. So it's just like this.
Oh, really?
Is that not free? Is that not?
ZenHub is not free.
This one's free. Is the only reason I'm
Yeah.
What's the difference between GitHub and integration?
It's actually.
It's
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That's cool. But that one automatically updates. So when you merge this branch into QA, you move the ticket into active development. Yeah. And then when he opened the pull request, they moved it into unreview. So it's kind of nice enough to touch it.
The waffle does want to charge you if you got GitHub Enterprise.
Oh, and I forgot to show, this is basically what, more or less what devs end up with, depending on how much dev data they have, is our app. And our app, like I said, it's a census aggregator of a lot of things. So I can I have, I wonder if this is actually working right now. I could actually just pull QA. It's a great demo. But you can overlay census data. So right now it's just total population. I'm wondering if I actually lost connection out here. Yeah, I probably should just pull up stage. But that's ultimately what we end up with, is visualize map and those things. Yes?
It's the same process for like managing Docker basically. You guys do custom interface images that you wear.
Yeah, so each repo, microservice, whatever, should have its own Docker file that will build off of some other base. We also do have the on-build file.
Give us a simple instruction for a lot of our services. So like, it expects your Docker file to be here and that's one stuff. I'm not going to go that's stuff.
I also forgot to mention at the beginning of this talk, I'm not the main DevOps here. I just like to hear myself talk. So there will be a couple other people joking. But I do a lot. I actually started doing DevOps when we moved down here. We didn't have a DevOps person, so I do it sometimes. It's fun.
Takes a village to raise an app.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Any other questions? All right. Well, I think Dane is up.